This is going to be one big long video. Hi there guys, so thanks for tuning in. I thought today I'd share with you a small collection of my model aircraft and model helicopters that I currently fly. So today we're going to make this nice and quick. We'll go into different sections. You might even be able to get a bit of advice out of this as well if you're interested in starting model flying. The first model helicopter to which I owned was one of these. This is known as a Twister Medevac, or Twister Bell Medevac, created by Perkins. This one here you see was 2006, first year of manufacture, and cost roughly about £60, which was pretty reasonable at the time. And you'd have a battery, I believe they're about 800 milliamps, so you got about 10 to 15 minutes flight time. I've actually added on this low battery light here at the back, and I've changed this 4-in-1. Now I should also mention that this helicopter here, this was the first ever coaxial helicopter that Perkins released. So the Twister Bell 47, it's got a lovely canopy. The funny thing is that the design of the 47 and the Medevac, they're pretty much the same apart from the motor layout on one side, which means the battery compartment is shifted off, as you can see, to the left side, or from behind the right side. And so after getting the Medevac, my parents decided to buy me something a bit more upmarket in terms of skill level, and this is where I got the fixed pitch Twister V2. Just something about the design, and I also love the way that when you look at it in the air, it's just the blue canopy shines out. So just like the two other models you've seen just now, also fixed pitch. But from my own experience, this is a pretty nice helicopter, but as a beginner, when I was young, it didn't go down so well. Very unstable. The model would just literally swing like this in the air, which is dramatic, but trust me, I've seen it happen with this own model before. Rather than lithium, they decided to go with the nickel metal hydride, which is a 650 milliamp battery, 8.4 volts. Now it's interesting because Honeybee released basically the same type of helicopter as this, but they use lithium. I'm almost wondering if they had this because of the CG, because when you put a lithium battery on here, the CG's still at the back, and that's down to the fact that the you can see there that the Velcro's come off there, but I've had to shift the battery compartment right forwards on it to maintain centre of gravity. But other than that, this is a good model. It's just there for a bit of fun, but doesn't get that much flying anymore. And all of these models that you've just seen ran on 35 megahertz. Back to the coaxial helicopter. So here we have the Spirit V3, which is made by Century UK. I believe this was released 2010. It might even be earlier than that, I'm not too sure. This was the fantastic helicopter line that Century had because of the stability. Compared to the Free here, this just smashes straight through the brick wall. It's fantastic. It's pretty cheap as well in terms of price. It's about £100. I don't have the original controller. I actually used the CUK 2801, which came with the Razor 500 SE, which you'll see in detail later. So next thing, moved on to the Razor CX 2.4G, just meaning 2.4 gigahertz. This was also by Century UK. In fact, all the models you're now going to see helicopter-wise are going to be Century, apart from the Graupner one in the corner there. The best part of this really was that it was this next level up to learning how to fly slightly bigger models, slightly more power, and just get a general handle on getting up that larger scale of models. There's the CX, and there is the Spirit. Total different kettle of fish. Okay, so next we have the Neon Blaze CPV2. This is probably the most fantastic helicopter for stability from a trainer's perspective. I can remember it was Christmas, I got another one of these, and the power, you know, sounds like a vacuum cleaner. It really, it's quite loud. Brushed motor, so there's no clutch, and basically like the Twister fixed pitch there, it's also got a motor for the back propeller. The only problem though this model had was that when the battery would run low, this tail would always spin, and no matter how much you compensate on the 4-in-1, it doesn't change. But if it's just to get used to flying collective pitch models, and obviously just for any new people that are tuning in, collective pitch means that the blade angle changes according to the amount of power that you use. I mean, I'm still learning about collective pitch, so I mustn't be say too much. The motor failed on this one. The previous one I owned, the motor failed, but Century UK were very kind enough to send me a replacement, which I really appreciated. And then after the replacement came, the model just crashed. I think something else went horribly wrong with it. And that's actually where I went back to the coax, really, and even partly some quadcopters. But then this was where I thought it's time to put all my eggs in one basket and get myself probably one of the most amazing and best helicopters I could recommend for anybody to fly. The Razor 500 has to be one of the best helicopters I've flown. It's just built so well. Compared to the Twister V2, this one's got a gorgeous belt-driven tail with a lovely gyro and servo which share the controls together. And you can just see it's a lovely smooth transmission. Again, this is the helicopter that you'd use even if you're an expert. But for me, I got this because I just needed a model helicopter which I could fly, that's reliable, high performance, as it states, and big. So the 500 features a 22.2 volt battery, which actually in model flying terms actually is quite low. Most of them use 44, I think it's 44 or 42 volt batteries, which are in series. That they're basically petrol equivalent. However, this still packs a punch in terms of power. Century UK would supply you with PowerTech batteries. Brand new, they're blimmin' brilliant. They work really well. But I ordered 2 PowerTech batteries, and the cells were always imbalanced, even with a balanced charge, even making sure that it was put on storage, looked after properly. They just never held the performance. And so I went down the route of buying one of these gorgeous batteries instead. A lovely Overlander 3.3 amp hour battery, 70C constant discharge and 120C bursts. It's so good. You can even go higher in capacity just to get a bit more flight time. So what do you get with this one? Well, the good news is for the price of 300, which is what I had it for, 380, you had this lovely remote, absolutely gorgeous remote. Has a 10 model memory. That doesn't sound a lot, but if you've got over there, you've got your Razor CX, your Spirit V3, you can link this up and you can chuck away all the controllers that you don't need. So this controller just gives you lots of flexibility of what you can do with model planes, but the 500 has to be one of the best. So now on to the model aircraft side. The first one that you see here is the Grand Wing Servo E-Starter, which, if I remember correctly, was manufactured in 2003. Featured a brushed motor with a nice orange propeller. So what I've got here is I've got a brushless motor. It runs off an 11.1 volt lithium ion battery, which I actually had to build, because the problem with the E-Starter was that it used nickel metal hydride batteries. So that's why I moved on to the using of a brushless speed controller with a nice Spectrum receiver, and actually we just used the Spectrum DX6i. So this would be ideal for the trainer in mind, since it's made of polystyrene. It's so easy to repair. If anything you break, it's generally quite straightforward. You can either just glue it back, or you can even just do what I like here, for instance, just use a glue gun and just, like silicone, just seal it over. That works out alright. But yes, you may be able to get these still. They are quite rare now, because obviously if they were from the early 2000s, getting one of these is tricky. But if you can, blimmin' get one, because they just fly so well. So finally here we have the Model Islander, which is my favourite model of all. We have 2 separate speed controllers in this configuration, and they are using 2 Overlander 1300 kilovolts motors. So it uses 2 batteries. There's the 2 there. It's using their 2200 milliamps, which actually, amazingly enough, I get about a flight time of 15 minutes. And just a quick look around here. We've got the front, the back tail, Brit Norman 2, and just for anyone who is interested, there are the people to which made this model. So you can actually get this, as I said, from Sussex Model Centre, providing that they're still going. Again, this is a 4-channel model plane. Keep trying to say helicopter all the time. Please do feel free to ask questions and I can try and answer them the best I can. And so it's just a final pan of the models. Again, as a quick summary. And yes, so stay tuned, as I'll probably get some more videos of model flying in the future. So yeah, thanks for watching, and subscribe and like for more.